guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be interviewing a good friend of mine. She is also a very talented interior designer, Yzabel Cagalingan. She is the interior designer and co-founder of the Grey House project. Hi Isabel, how are you doing?
Hi Alex, nice to meet you. It's so good to finally have this chit chat regarding real estate and interior design.
Yeah, so how long have you been an interior designer?
Well, I graduated in University of Santo Tomas as in BS Interior Design in 2011. So right after that, I took the board exams right away. And then I went into a mentorship program for a year. So let's say I've been practicing already since 2012 fully. So that's 10 years now by
Wow!
this year. Yeah, 10
It's like
years.
around the same amount of time that I've been a real estate broker.
See,
Ang tagal,
perfect.
ang tagal na natin sa industries natin. Isang
Yeah,
dekada na
wala
tayo
pang
dito.
social media before, wala pang YouTube. So bago pa lang ako sa YouTube
Yeah.
now. It's my first year.
So since you've been doing this for so long, what is usually your interior design process? Like for example, if you sit down with a client and they tell you, okay, I'm building a house and you want you to do that, come in as the ID. What's the
Yeah.
design process behind that?
It's been the same since the start. What changes lang now is like the amount of time you spend now with a client and the ways to kind of deal with them. So it we work in phases. So it's just like in a relationship, you still have that getting to know each other. So you get referred by somebody or they inquire for your services. So right after you take in like the first phase, usually we start with the getting to know stage. So we get to know the client. Then after the client, it's the project or the space or let's just say whatever they want to have service. So sometimes it's the residential, sometimes it's commercial. Some clients naman, they need na parang same day setup. So it really depends. So you get introduced with what the design project is first, the space, and then who your clients are. And then after that, we start with the pre-construction stage. Usually our clients get us pre-con. So that's one thing that we were trying to promote here in Mindanao is that they get interior designers in the pre-construction stage and phase because I noticed here they like getting us after the construction stage. So that's what we
So
call the
what's
stage.
the difference that you see between the real estate style or process or
Yeah.
market here in Mindanao compared to in Manila? Because di ba you were based there? How long were you practicing as an ID in Manila as compared to here in Cagayan?
Here, our greenhouse project started probably we're 2 years now and here in Mindanao, but we still have projects in Manila. So we can still see the difference between the real estate there and here. Number one, the design and build is so aggressive there. They know what they want, they know what to sell, they know what to like to put inside a house or a project. Dito naman sometimes they don't get an interior designer for a design and build. Like
No,
for
not sometimes, all the time. Like the clients
all
that I
the time,
have for build and sell, they
right?
don't get an ID. Like hindi siya uso. Like even with my clients who are building their own
Yeah,
house, they
yeah,
usually get they get of course talagang merong engineer like a contractor
yeah,
and an architect which is
yeah.
kailangan naman talaga. But
Yes, of
wala
course.
pa akong nakitang client na they really got an interior designer because usually what they do is they just furnish or design their own houses after
Yeah,
construction. So hindi pa siya masyadong I think as accepted siguro here or as practiced here as compared to Manila. Like sa the
yes.
builders in Manila, do they get an ID from the get-go from the start?
Yes, based on experience, I've had a few projects already with design and build, and then they get it from the beginning. Because what we do, we always say, we always work with your contractors, your engineers, and your architects. We don't like fight now, okay, this is my job, this is the architect's job. It's usually a team of these good team of professionals who work stage. So the architects will build it structurally, design the exterior. We come in, help them with the partitions inside, especially with the kitchens also, and then all the usually we turn it over as interior finishing.
So it's a
We don't do
team effort
furnishing.
talaga.
It is a team it's a team effort because there are three stages in interior design. One is you do from pre-construction until interior furnishing, wherein like we do everything until the furniture and all the all the little accessories and putting things sa bahay. We can also stop at interior finishing. So that's only like the toilets, the tiles, usually yun ang sa design and build, the kitchen. So that's where interior designers come in. Also with the lighting design, because we also like under us and lighting layouts. So they get us so that we can choose the right type of lighting fixture. So let's just say when a client comes in, or if they want to buy the house, it feels fully made na. All they have to do is really just buy furniture. Now it feels already that even the lighting is right, the tiles are good, the toilets are good, the cabinets are nice. So at the end of the day, it makes them like spend less because all they have to do is, hire us again, or they can just furnish the houses themselves. So that's why I think that there's a need
But
for
they can
us.
also get you to furnish it for them.
Of course, of course. So that is another like parent design scope of work. Actually, it depends. Like if you get a client, you can ask them, okay, what scope do you want to get us for? Recon, setup only, or you want us just to draw? Kasi pwede rin na kami lang magdodrawing, yan sila na bahala. But most of our clients get us talaga from pre-con till turnover. Kasi sayang daw minsan if they get us in pre-con and then they don't get us for the full package.
Yeah, that's
Nasasayang yung
true. That's true.
planning.
Ako
Yeah,
nga nasasayangan ako sa ibang clients ko na they spend millions on their houses. And
exactly.
then, yung interior design is not that nice. Because of course, if wala ka naman talagang experience, diba?
Mhm. Yeah.
Compared to like you who really has the experience and the skills to execute. So if ako, I have a different job and it's not my strength din naman yung doing ID. So it wouldn't look as nice compared to if I had hired a professional. So yung
Yeah.
beauty ng house, hindi siya na ma-maximize.
Right. Kasi we always tell people na, like, just like architecture also, interior design is not only about the aesthetics, it's really about the safety and ergonomics in design.
And the functionality of the
Yes, like
entire
there's
home.
we follow standards on like how big your doors are supposed to be, how high it's supposed to be. So when you enter it, it feels right. Most of our clients always tell us na parang when you go inside like a well-designed home from an architect, a group of interior designers, a group of like good structural engineers, good lighting designers, when you come in, it's just like you're in a showroom. Parang walang mali. Yung parang walang kulang. Everything feels full. Na parang even the air quality is
Everything
full.
feels perfect.
Yeah, even the lighting's beautiful. So that's one thing that they love. So that's one thing that we want to promote in a design and build industry like yourself. Like if you get a full team, a complete team of professionals, it's so easy to sell because your clients will just come in and it feels right. When it feels right, it's like they just want to buy it. Ang iisipin nila, wala na akong ibang gagastusin, wala na akong back job. All I gotta do is spend on my furniture. If I cannot afford the furniture right now, I can still, stay on the floor with a good mattress, but my house is beautiful. So that's the thing. We're trying to avoid construction after a design build.
Yeah, and
So that's
that's
that.
what I would want also for our future home. Kami ni Jong, we were talking about it. We said we need to get Isabel for our future home para incorporated na
Thank you.
lahat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to just come in at the end of the day and just live at already
Yeah.
sa house, like yung with
Yeah.
all the furniture na, with all the even the like the throw pillows, yung kompleto na
Mhm.
talaga, the bed sheets. So everything,
Yeah,
we
but
want everything to be done.
just like yung sa design process that you were asking kanina, we read that's why we love working with the clients from planning stage because we have to design it curated to your lifestyle. I always tell people, like I'll ask a client, like for example yourself, I'll ask you, Alex, which one sa inyo ni Jong will sleep later? Or who stays up like the most? Because that's how we're gonna do the layout of your electrical. Like I'm gonna put the three-way switch by the person who sleeps last because you're gonna be controlling the lights. So it's very customized. Like I'll even ask you, would you like to wake up facing the sunrise or like you want to face the sunset? So we're gonna position your bedroom where the sunset is. So it takes a lot of like clientele meetings, and then we're gonna finalize everything on plans, and then we'll build na your structural with the architects. So do you think like from the beginning we already know how you're gonna live inside the house? Like some of our clients nga minsan ayoko na ng dining, just make me a big kitchen with a good counter and then just a small entertainment area. So it will change talaga. So ibig sabihin, when the architect builds it, wala ng walls. So it has to really start from planning it with us because we need to know what is inside. That's why nga interior design siya, di ba? Outside and inside will have to complement each other. So your windows will change. There sometimes you say, "Oh, I want a balcony facing here." So if I position your bed here, architect will now adjust like the window will have to be facing here. So everything needs to start from the beginning para at least long term ng bahay eh. Like you don't have to like
Yes.
say when you're
It's a
inside, I
long-term
just wanna
investment.
yeah, I'm gonna buy na lang a better house after a while. So we want na once you buy this house, that's your long term house now.
Have you had a client like that here in Cagayan de Oro na?
Which one long?
Like
We've had
from pre-design to all the way up on turnover and they had, furnish
yes.
their house for them. May ganyan na ba
Yes.
dito?
Yes, recently we just turned over also a project, two projects. Now we started from pre-construction until turnover. So even up to turnover, there are back jobs because like sometimes like they just want to customize. Because when I turn over, we don't fill everything up because we make room for future adjustment. Like the walls, we don't put artwork sa lahat ng walls because I will know na you guys will travel, you will have your own personal collection. So, eventually, these walls are meant for that. Kasi 'di ba ayoko naman na parang pagpasok niyo, puno na yung bahay. There's no more room for your personal items for the future. So right now, even after turnover, dumadating na yung mga personal items. So we're still involved in the house. So we have that. It's more madetalye. Honestly, it's more in Tagalog we call it's more makote. I don't know if it's the
Yeah,
same.
Mamati.
It's more makulit, but at the end of the day, if the client and us as the designers are satisfied, it's really all worth it. Like if you see them talaga, like I think I was making kwento to you guys. We had clients also in Manila. They'd cry during turnover. And with
Yeah.
that, parang
Yung
tuwang-tuwa na
videos
kami.
that you showed me, it reminded me of yung sa
Yeah.
vlogs ni Mr. and Mrs. B of Moss Design House. 'Di ba? They like their clients ask them to fluff their house or like a part of their house like just the bedroom or just the dining or the
Yeah.
kitchen. And
Yeah.
then after 3 days, or I don't know if it really takes just 3 days, but in the video
Mhm.
they saying,
It's
okay, three
fluffing. It
days.
could be, yeah. For
Yeah,
fluffing.
kasi wala namang anything na kailangan i-adjust sa interior talaga.
Mhm.
Just move around furniture and stuff like that and maybe repaint some of the walls. So and then
Yeah.
after 3 days, parang may reveal. So the clients, they really get emotional because their personal decor are
Mhm.
something that's personal to them. Like yung photos
Right.
nila when they travel, ng babies nila.
Right.
Ang ganda ng
It was
reveal na
not in a
period.
larger scale. Like imagine that seeing your house as like just a lot. And then slowly building it in like 6 months to a year, and then you have that full reveal. So for us, that's why I think they cry, is because they've invested so much on buying the house, on building the house. Yeah, I think that they deserve being surprised because I don't want our clients to still go through the whole parang stressful part of setting it up. You know, all the furniture's there. They're gonna think, what am I gonna do? So what we usually do, like a few days before setting up, we don't let the client see the place. So even if the furniture is there, I'm not gonna touch it. So yun ang ginagawa namin. So parang reveal it talaga at the end.
Okay, so let's talk about the Gray House project. Why did you decide to start your own project? Also in the midst, I mean, your own company, design and build company in the middle
Yeah.
of the pandemic pa.
Yeah, well, number one, we saw that there was a market because people weren't traveling. So I think it's also the same with real estate. People started to look for properties and invest in properties also away from the city. We also know of friends and families who would come over to provinces and like more remote areas and transfer there, decongest from the city. And then nag-start yan sa advent ng work from home, study from home. So they wanted to like renovate their rooms, create. That's like lumakas din yung online orders of furniture. So that's why I think we really, let's just say, nagkaroon tayo ng projects during the pandemic because people wanted to spend their money na somewhere else. I mean, it would cost them sometimes millions to travel, and then they realize, hey, may property kami nakatiwag mo. Why not just build a rest house now? So we had the courage to put up that company. I mean, honestly, it was kind of fresh off the pandemic because there was a need of it. Also, like we would get inquiries pre-pandemic and we couldn't take it still because we were still building the team here. We've flown in already some of our team from Manila to come over here because the opportunity talaga away from Manila is so big because there are not much ITs away from cities like Manila, Cebu. Davao also has, but not as much, but it has, Manila and Cebu. So yeah, siguro one reason is the market got bigger. People wanted to spend their money somewhere else, and then they wanted to invest in construction. So that's why Grey House Project really bloomed during pandemic.
During the pandemic. And yet you're
Yes.
right, there really is a demand
Mhm.
for like good IDs here because there aren't a lot of IDs pa here in Cagayan.
Yeah.
I've been in this industry for so long, hindi pa masyado talaga. More on architects, contractors, but not IDs pa. So I think the strength also of your company is all-in-one na kayo, di ba? Like you can design because you already have an
Yes.
in-house architect and you can
Yes.
do the ID because you're
Correct.
there and you can
Yeah.
also construct it. So all-in-one na parang sa client, para masulit na for them because you don't have to hire so many different people to build
Mm-hmm.
their home. They can just
Hindi siya
hire
magulo.
one company. Hindi na magulo. Isang tao
Yeah,
na
pero
lang, isang company na lang yung kakausapin
exactly.
nila.
Pero what Grey House also wants to do is we want to support also those starting contractors here in Cagayan de Oro. So we have these smaller pocket projects, like interior projects, na we're giving it to contractors here locally. Kasi syempre, as somebody who's not also from here, we do want to also help those who are already from here. So for us to be able to receive, to get more projects and to say yes to all those inquiries, we wanted to little by little support these contractors also in CDO and Region 10 and then give them some projects but with Grey House but then leading it. So that's one thing that we promised. No, it's not going to be like, oh, it's like Luzon people coming in. It's not going to be like that. Like honestly, our team here is based of all parang locals. The Manila team is still assigned to Manila projects. The team here are mostly Cagayans.
So how
Ako lang
often do you travel back and forth since you have projects in Manila and projects in Cagayan?
honestly, even during the pandemic, I travel once a month. But now, medyo mas madalas, I spend 2 weeks in Mindanao and 2 weeks in Manila.
Wow, so busy.
Yeah, honestly, kasi with this job, you have to be to talk. Like, you do have people, but you know firsthand that even if you have staff, you have to oversee. But little by little, since it's been like we've been training them, all we gotta do is check na lang and really talk to the clients directly. So when I go to Manila, it's more of like I also do sourcing because some of our ang isang mahirap kasi sa Cagayan, that's why medyo hirap din sa doing good designs, I think, is the availability of suppliers and stores. So like kami, we'd go pa to Manila or source from outside the country to fly them in or bring it here. So hopefully in the next years, we will have like an advent of more local designers, furniture shops, like all of these things coming in.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Because I can totally relate. Because when I talk to my clients and I ask them, "Oh, this is a beautiful couch or something, or this is a beautiful vase
May
or
kamukha
decor.
sila.
Where do you get your items?" No,
Yeah.
usually they tell me that they source it either from Manila or like Luzon or even abroad. Like some they really fly in their stuff from like Italy or Europe or the US kasi nahihirapan silang maghanap ng stuff here
That's
in Cagayan kasi medyo limited pa talaga yung selection.
Yeah. So with us, it's like a one-stop na. Like you won't stress yourself. Here's the thing. People didn't want to travel to Manila to fly stuff. And kami, we were brave enough to like fly there or call our staff there. So, di ba, instead of them flying there to source their furniture, we'd fly there,
You can do it
create
for them na.
yes, create a catalog, and then be the third part, that middleman to do the purchasing and then delivery na lang. But they always check naman. Like we give them options. Like this is the local option, this is the Manila option, this is the cost of having it shipped. So what's good is that that's why you have to do pre-planning because it will save your client a lot more money. Like when you ship it here, it's a container na rather than you ship it for piece by piece. So 2, 3 months before turnover, you have to approve all of your furniture na para at least ready ka na for delivery ng isang container. It will save a lot of time and money, di ba? So yun
Yes,
yung isa
correct. Oh.
mabuti sa job na namin, the purchasing part. Kasi imagine mo, even the pillows, the throw pillows,
I
and
think
the
yung purchasing part for me ang the most overwhelming siguro. Kaya I don't really, hindi ko talent na pumili ng kung anong colors yung babagay. Like,
yeah,
siguro if it's something that you don't know, it becomes stressful to you.
That's true. The purchasing part is something that I would do sa part ko, like sila, like my business partner Angelo. Talagang sa construction sila, like tutok sila sa side, the boys. Kapag purchasing part na, alam na nila, okay, this is her thing now. I have to, call
Like the
that new
color of the
bathroom.
curtains, the color of
Yeah,
the bed sheets, yung ganyan, yung rugs, how they all
yeah.
come together to
Yeah,
beautify a
sometimes kasi,
home.
exactly. Sometimes parang, sige, just give me 3 days. Just give me the truck there. Ako na bahala. So just leave me be. Parang ganun siya. Just get the
Just
site
leave me
ready
be
when
and
it's
I'll do all
done.
the shopping.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Honestly, I love shopping for a client's house. I love it. It's like shopping and then the one spending for it nga is the client. But ito, I don't shop.
Especially since may budget, especially kung malaki
Yeah.
yung budget.
Well, that's good. Pero sabi nga sumatawag, good design doesn't have to be expensive. Like, magugulat sometimes some of our clients na, huh? Parang ito lang umabot and it looks like this. Because what my philosophy in design is, not everything expensive is beautiful. You can have one good piece, two good pieces. You'd be surprised. Some of our projects, we'd fly one beautiful sofa in, and everything would be like coming from the local stores na here. So, parang ako, it's still my responsibility to make sure that they don't just spend their money for the sake of like they can.
Like
Like,
the sofa you told me about that cost like 400,000 or something.
yes, we got it on sale naman because designers
So,
gets discount.
400,000 sale na yun.
Yeah,
For
huwag mo
one.
na isama
A
yan,
sofa
Alex.
set.
Cut mo yan.
Oh, sige, sige. I-cut yung 400,000 na sofa.
Si client dyan medyo kilala yan. So,
Wala namang
yeah.
na-mention na client. So anyway, let's talk about pricing. For example, I want you to design my house and to build it and to furnish it like until the end. What's the costing on that? Like maybe
Actually,
our range.
our range, yeah, we get a lot of questions also about this one. And then we always tell them it really depends on like the scope of work. We don't have a fixed rate. It depends on what kind of service you want to get. Since Grey House Project is a design and also construct company, sometimes what we do is if you get the construction part also na kami bahala, we give the design for free. So imagine that you get to build your house at X thousand of square meters, pesos per square meter, and then free ng interior design. So that's one thing that we like to tell people that if you get us, parang libre na ako. No, parang ganun
Libre
siya.
na yung interior design.
Yeah, so it depends on the scope of work. Sometimes also the bigger the house, the smaller the per square meter. And sometimes if they want, I design lang ikaw tapos na yung bahay. We just want you to do the interior, stage it. It also goes down per
Kung
square
design
meter.
and build, do you have a per square meter na rate, like range for that?
Yes, for Cagayan de Oro, I noticed it's actually more of market research than siya because in Manila, the range now is around 45,000 to 55,000 per square meter on design, on houses and design and build. When you depends on the furniture naman, it can go up to 65,000 per square meter. Per lahat na yun, kasama na yung furniture, lahat. Dito sa Cagayan, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, houses go from 21, 25 to 35,000 per square meter. Ito na
Yeah,
yung
yeah.
parang,
Usually, yun yung usual rates of the contractors that I know. I think
yes.
now it's like 28,000 per square and up.
Okay. So if you add furniture there, it can come up to like 35 to 45,000. So though that's usually the range, but this is like full talaga. Yung tipong lahat kami magpo-provide like walk-in closets, cabinets, the water closets. That's one shebang na, like the beds, the curtains. So that's still fair price, I think, for like a full scope na the design and build. Yeah, so
Na you just have to move in. Wala ka na talagang gagawin.
this is based on experience. Like if I computed nga, mga ganun lumalabas, 30, 35, 45. Again, depends on the budget of the client. We always say we can adjust to the budget of the client, but we have to tell them, okay, kung ito yung budget, ito yung what to expect. Because you cannot say, okay, this is your budget, ma'am, but we're gonna give you like this much.
So
Because
you have to be realistic.
you have to be realistic all the time, and then you have to learn how to compromise. Like one thing I always tell them is, okay, this is your budget, but are you willing to spend a little more for a good kitchen? Sige lang, let's do away with a really nice living room, but if you love to cook, let's spend in your kitchen. So it's a matter of compromising. That's why this job is so personal because you really have to like adjust to your client because this is hard earned money from your client. You can't just, ma'am, sorry, we can't take you. You have no money. It can't be like that. You work with what they have and then you compromise with it. And then you make do. Parang ganun
So
kami.
coming back to as a business owner, what were your challenges in starting a business and what did you learn from these challenges?
One thing that was a big challenge was also growing the team. I think the secret of having a good business is to have a good team.
I agree.
Uh, yeah. So one thing is like you cannot grow if your team can grow. Like you cannot expect everything that ikaw. Like you can't expect that you can create this big business, but you want it still you. So you have to, grow the team, invest your time. One thing is we created this company culture na we would like to parang dapat same siya for our employees, for us na owners, and also for our suppliers. So there's a different company culture na syempre sa start, hindi siya ganun ka-accepted kasi like it's not a technical company. It's not a corporate. Parang hindi naman siya corporate style. It's more of a company culture, modern type siya na style of company na we don't even do biometrics as long as they get to do the job and then they get to report to us, something gets accomplished. So yun yung medyo nag-adjust na hindi pa sanay yung mga tao dito. Kasi syempre sanay ang mga dito na 8 to 5 na work. Diba? Na parang dapat may reporting kayo lagi. So ang sa amin sa ni Angelo with our business partner is we wanted to create this company culture because it's a line kami of creative business eh. Hindi siya accounting firm, hindi siya firm na wherein you have an 8 to 5 job. So that was a challenge no start. And then now, if you see, they're more productive. Our team is more productive because they know that they can spend more time with their families back home if they get to accomplish at their own time and pacing. So even in the weekend, if they have to work from home, it's okay. Parang ganun
So
siya. So
it's
that's
not
what
a strict 8 to 5 job. It's more
no,
of
it's
ikaw na bahala when you want to work as long as you deliver the deliverables
yes,
on time.
yes.
So output based siya.
Yes, it's output based because we need when we visit sites, we need to know na parang may progress siya. Siyempre, may technicalities like you have your accounting na you have your like this. Pero in general, the project managers and the engineers, it's an output based na work. So kami naman as their bosses, we just make sure na things are running well. Like number one, they're provided for. Like one thing na happy sila is even their meals are provided for. Because for us, we eat together most of the time during lunch. Like they come from site in the morning, they go HQ, we have lunch together. Because that's when we start talking about the problems. Because yung problems sa site is not normal company problems. Minsan, problema sa construction worker. Yun yung isang thing. Um, Ako honestly, I adjusted a bit also to the work ethics of the workers here also. Kagaya yung mga laborers, ganyan. Number one, it was language barrier since I'm Tagalog. So at least my partner is Bisaya and their team's Bisaya. So those are the little challenges. So it's really good that I had a good team to start with. It's because me myself, I had a language barrier also. So yun. So that was one of the big challenges. Actually, until now, we're still growing the team and then taking in more workforce and
So
the availability.
what's another challenge?
Another challenge, siguro estate. One project we had, there was 4 houses and one property, 4 different clients, 4 different styles, and 4 different turnovers, but just one lump. So
One
you're dealing
house?
one property, 4 houses, four
Oh, okay.
clients. So I think one challenge is for you to be versatile enough to take on whatever concept and um, culture your clients are. Imagine they all live in one place, but you're dealing like this house is American style, this house is industrial style, this style is like this. So now you will depend now on your team who has the strongest style for this one. Kasi ako as a designer, I always tell them I don't have a distinct style. It depends on my client, but I have a distinct feel when you come in the house. So yun isang challenge is how you're able to cater to all the whims and wants of a client. Like how do you just suddenly shift yourself? Ano, maging bipolar ka? So it goes back again to having a good team who can also think and conceptualize like you. So yun yun. And One thing lang talaga is a big challenge is for you to finish a project from start to end. Parang our goal talaga is
Which some contractors don't do, sadly,
yes,
no?
that is the
There are like
challenge.
I've been hearing horror stories also from my clients
Exactly.
na they have to file a, a court case pa against their contractor
Exactly.
because they didn't
Yes.
finish and they already paid him. So may mga ganyan. So it's sad because they building a house is something that's very personal to you. And of course,
Mhm.
you pour your hard-earned money in it, and then you have to ano pa, deal with all these things like a
Right.
contractor who didn't finish the project. So it gives the industry a bad name also.
Exactly. So we have to be a representative of a construction company also, and like the people na parang yes, we can finish. That's why I think I was telling you before, our goal is always to reveal and to turn over. Because if I am able to reveal, ibig sabihin we were able to finish the project. So that's a big challenge for someone who's trying to deal not only with construction, with talagang turnover, is that you have to see through it and you have to reveal to your client. So it's a challenge, but again, once you have a good team, if you're a good team of problem solvers, honestly, in design and construct, you're trying to solve the problems of your clients. Eh. You're trying to solve, like, I want a house, I want this, I want this. You're a critical thinker. So if you create a team who's good at that, you can finish a project. So siguro right now, current problem na lang or something we have to deal is sustain to make it sustainable, to make sure we can be consistent. So and to make sure we can grow. And now like the designs are also growing. We need to do pandemic proof designs. So yun yung thing, design is evolving. It's not fixed. It's like it's not na parang forever to na lang tayo. So we also have to evolve. So kami na yun parang we have to go through like seminars pa maybe or like go out of the country, check out the new designs out there. So yeah, you have to evolve. So that's one more thing that we will be in the pipeline.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Oh my
And for
gosh,
your
yes.
other projects pa.
Yeah,
So
we are also
exciting.
so excited na like CDO welcomed us in also, and we're
And
so
we have a
blessed. Na,
project pa din, so I'm excited to get you on
yeah,
board. Let's meet soon, siguro next week.
actually, we're so
Sa
happy
project
someone
namin.
like you guys. Like we always say that we're such a young team. Like also for you guys, even if we've been in the business for 10 years now, but
Yes.
yeah, but for a place like this, parang it's still new. So I'm so happy you guys are taking this on also. And then you guys have been so open minded also with like there's more to it in Cagayan de Oro. There's a potential. It's such a beautiful city. And it's up to people like you or me and the rest of yung mga colleagues natin to really make a mark here. Like kulang
And to really also elevate the standards of the real estate industry in
exactly.
Cagayan because the industry here in the Philippines in general, the real estate industry is very young. It's
Exactly.
still very young. There's still so much to do. We can really, like lead the way in this industry pa because it's still very young.
Diba you just came from Davao and it already feels so progressive there. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
right?
We just got back yesterday, so we were there for 5 days. Davao is very very progressive. There's so
True.
much going on in the city, so that's why we also decided to expand there. Actually, we decided to do that last year pa, but we couldn't go last year because diba, it was also crazy pa
Right.
with the
Lockdown.
pandemic and stuff and lockdowns.
Yeah.
Cagayan lockdown for the first time last year, diba?
Yeah.
So we couldn't go last year. So we're so happy that we were able to go na to Davao
And
to
congratulations
expand.
because you're expanding there already. Galing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
galing. Yeah, ako, one thing I think that the same with you guys, one thing that we always pride ourselves in is regardless if the project is small or if the client is small or big, you treat them the same way. You give them the same quality of time or like attention. So regardless if like how big our companies get, we treat all our clients the same way. Like kung mag-effort ka na, you give the same effort
Like
to all.
100% in
Right.
anything. Like 100% effort
Exactly.
in anything. And I think
Yeah.
that's also a habit. Like I'm just 100% person. I give my 100% in everything that I do.
Exactly. That's one reason why I don't know if you're going to include it, but for your viewers, that's one reason why we would tap into Alex for all our, real estate opportunities because we saw in you na talagang you were almost of the similar like culture like us na if there's an opportunity, grab it, and I'm gonna give my all and then give my best. Parang yun yung one thing that we also like with your with your realty company. Yeah. Parang yun, that's one thing. One advice nga I always tell people then na if you want to focus on a certain business or like as an entrepreneur, you choose na lang where you're gonna put your full effort. Like you can do a lot. Like I mean, a person's mind can do so much, but you choose where you want to put your full effort, where you're gonna get your most return, because that's where you're gonna give talaga your full attention to. And if you do that, then slowly by slowly, you can start, meddling into different businesses now. But in the start, in the beginning,
Yes, I
focus on
agree. My husband and I
realm.
actually decided, like, I think that was 2 years ago when we decided to really just go full time in the real estate industry. Because, diba, our
Yeah,
businesses, we
because
had
you
to
need
close,
cafe, diba?
we had to close them down. Our cafes and our gaming cafes and our coffee shop, we had to close them down because of the pandemic. So after that, we were like, okay, let's go full time into real estate and let's not do anything else apart from real estate for the next like 20 years. So
Right.
parang focus lang talaga sa real estate, and if we're gonna do something else, it has to be connected to real estate.
Right. And it has to be sustainable, something that it will be, someone will need 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. Same thing with Angelo, diba? Like we were focused before on like, Autoforma, they had the cars and all, and then suddenly he zeroed in, okay, we're doing design. Because number one, it's such a creative thinking process. And it's so nice to see something start from zero, just lupa, and then something beautiful. So yeah, and so you learn how to sacrifice, you learn to choose your battles. And then if
That's
you
correct.
if you arm yourself with a good team, like a good RP, and then you'll be fine. So that's
And
one
that's
thing.
actually what's hard to do nowadays because there's
Yes.
so much opportunity that you have to learn to say no.
Yes. Nagagalit din sa amin na why we say no also.
We have to learn how to say no. We have to learn to choose which projects or which
Mhm.
things to put our full effort in. Kasi hindi pwede na pakalat-kalat lang, di ba? Like,
Yeah.
here, like, focus dito and then another thing and then another thing. It has to be like laser focus on one thing because that's how
Mhm.
we can really grow and be the best
Exactly.
that we can be sa industries that we've chosen.
Exactly. That's so good. I feel like we're in a podcast right now.
Yeah, actually, I'm starting my
Yeah.
restarting my podcast next week. So I have a co-host sa
Yeah.
podcast ko. You met
That's what I know.
him sa
Yeah.
when we
Um,
you met him.
Mr.
Oh, yun.
Marketing. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot his name.
Yeah, so I'm excited to do a podcast with a co-host na hindi na lang ako.
Yeah, pero I was even doing, like, honestly, you're the only one doing YouTube, I think, that I know of, na locally here, na pretty successful at what you're doing. So just continue it and
Thank
continue
you.
it. Same thing
Yeah,
as a
I am.
humble is gonna
When
be
we
like,
went nga to Davao, I was like Googling or I searched on YouTube if there are also vloggers based in Davao. And there were a few, but not mostly house tours. Yung gusto ko
right,
kasi talaga is I wanted to find in-depth information about the market in Davao, but I couldn't find anything on YouTube. Like same sa
yeah,
what I'm doing here in Cagayan. I'm talking
yeah,
about the market here, about all the projects para the clients, they will just find it easy to choose na lang because the
mhm,
information is already there. So kulang pa talaga ng information. So that's what I want to do also for the Davao real estate market. I want to
mhm,
put a lot of information there.
yeah. You know what's good then? I know there's still so many good architects here. Like I do see a lot of like Facebook pages of architectural firms posting. So I know there are a lot of good also architects here. So hopefully then I know that you'll be able to feature more, because I think there's still a lack also of like places or designs to feature. So I'm sure give it like 5 years, there's gonna be a lot of stuff now for you to feature and sell.
Yeah.
So
Well,
at
if you
least from
can
your,
refer someone to me who would
yeah,
love to be a guest on my channel, why not? I'll interview that person. Like if
yeah,
you know an
for sure.
architect na I can interview, why not?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
so
just like an added thing lang here in CTO. I'm sure
uh,
there's still so much out there, but we're just another choice. So parang yun ang like I said, parang we're just another um help in this industry of design. Another parang wing, another not much choice. How do you say this? Like basta another thing.
option option.
I don't know. I'm not sure. There's still a lot out there. The good ones are still out
Okay, so ano, last question. What are the top three characteristics you believe every entrepreneur should have?
Okay, three characteristics. This is based also on my experience and my goals then, like how I'm gonna achieve it. Number one is like what I mentioned, Kanina, you have to grow your company culture. You have to know what your company is trying to promote. If you want a company this way, from that, if you know your culture already, that's what you start. That's what you train your team to be, because that's the type of company that your clients will also feel. If they know na parang, "Uy, this company is like super attention to detail, talagang we're catered from start to end," they're gonna feel that all the way and they're gonna recommend you. So you have to also learn to have a dynamic partnership, regardless if it's a corporation or a partnership. Let's just say even if it's a single proprietor company, you have to still learn how to be dynamic with your team members, and then you have to be professional. Because you in this industry you deal with different professionals. You, like for us, you deal with architects, contractors. You also deal with co-designers, suppliers. So you have to be professional and be nice. Like we always tell people, just be nice and trustworthy, because it's so hard. You're dealing with personal lives here. Eh. Second is you have train yourself to be a good problem solver. Like dapat solution oriented lagi yung mindset mo, and you have a positive outlook. Kasi hindi siya cliche. Being an entrepreneur is not just one click. Even you say na parang you have parents who gave you the business, it's not going to be as easy na parang, okay, I'm going to run the business. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. So what makes a good entrepreneur for me is the growth process. Like ako now, we're still, I still think even if I'm 10 years na interior designer, grabe yung growth process ko for the past years. And this is something that I think will help anyone in creating this sustainable business. Like you have to take in those pain, you have to take in all of those like hard work, because you're not going to be a good business person if you don't know the ins and out, the ugliness and the greatness of a business. And you have to immerse yourself in it so that when you have people, you can tell them, I know what you're doing. So you have to do it from ground up talaga.
We're
Because you
like
need to
firefighters.
exactly,
Like
di ba? Until
as entrepreneurs, we're like firefighters. We always have to put out fires in our business
exactly,
or sa work
exactly.
natin.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And then the third one is, like I mentioned, you have to treat your customers, your clients. Kanyari, you have a big, like if you have a bake shop or a cafe, treat them all equally, regardless if it's a big client, a small project. Treat them equally with the same attention, quality, and effort. Because this is it's gonna say a lot about your character as a business person, na regardless ano yung iharap sa akin, I will treat it the same way, with full integrity. So yun, so those are my three advices for entrepreneurs and starting also their businesses and having their own thing. And one advice ko, if you don't want to have your own business, or you think like you're made for the office, do the same thing also. Be a problem solver for your company. Diba? Be positive outlook. Because before you know it, your bosses will notice that. Tapos promote you na. So I
Yeah,
think these are the three
you'll
things.
become indispensable if you really know how to solve problems.
Exactly. And then one thing that I always hear is like take out the unnecessary of anything. Like treat everything as if it's the important things in life. So once you're grateful also, regardless if it's like you're happy, umiiyak ka na dyan, nahihirapan ka na, still be grateful because may project ka, or still be
Yeah.
grateful because you're doing something. Because it's so hard when your brain just turns off. You're not thinking of anything. So just be grateful, even if you're just not doing anything, that you're thinking of doing something. And eventually you'll produce something. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you
that's
so
what
much, Isabel. Thank you for your time. Learned a lot from you.
thank you, John, also. I know he's behind the camera, but I know he's an important dynamic partner.
Yeah. So I will see you soon.
Yes, let's meet soon. Let's
Yeah,
just
let's
go check
schedule
on
it
your project.
soon. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye.